Hello and welcome to another episode of the Connection Compass podcast. I'm your host, Andrea Louise Evans, and today I'm joined by Amy Snape, the founder of Sort with Snape. Amy is a professional home organiser with a passion for creating spaces that feel calm, clutter-free and truly functional, helping people save time, money and energy while rediscovering the joy in their homes. In this episode, we explore the deeper layers of what it means to sort and simplify, not just in our spaces, but our lives too. Amy shares her own journey from teaching to professional organising, the powerful inner knowing that comes when it's time to transition, and how investing in a new opportunity can completely change your path. Hi, Amy. Welcome to the Connection Compass. How are you today?
I'm very well, thank you, Andrea. Thanks for having me. I'm very excited.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to speaking to you today.
Yeah.
So for our listeners, please tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, so my name's Amy Snape and I'm a professional organiser. I've been running my own business for about 2.5, 3 years now. Previous to that, I was a primary school teacher for 20 years. So it's a bit of a change. So yeah, that's me.
And how have you found the change? How have you found the transit?
Absolutely amazing. Best thing I've ever done, if I'm being honest. Everything's kind of happened so quickly, really. But I always wanted to make a change. I knew I'd make a change at some point in my career or in my retirement, let's say, but maybe not this quick. It's kind of all happened at once and escalated to what it is now, which is fantastic, really. I did initially want to go part time from my job, from teaching, but I had to wait 2 terms. Now, I'm not very good at waiting. So during that time, it just made me think, actually, do I really want to stay in teaching? And the answer was plainly no. Woke up one morning, decided to hand in my notice. That's was the end of that, really.
You were just ready for that transition, weren't you?
Absolutely. Yeah, I knew it deep down that, I was absolutely ready for it. So I just did it.
Well,
Yeah.
congratulations on listening to that, that voice saying you to do
Yeah.
it. It's
Thank you.
because it's
Mm,
not an easy decision to make.
yeah.
So tell us about your business then.
So I help people to declutter and organise their homes. That could be from their kitchen, bedroom wardrobe, shed, garage, loft, children's playrooms, you name it. I will help you declutter and organise it and give you peace back to your home, really. I work with lots of different kinds of people, from professionals, retired people who are downsizing and maybe moving house, or busy mums, maybe stay at home mums that are just in the middle of all the mental load and chaos and need help to put systems in place, or even busy professional people that have families and don't have time to really focus on the stuff that's in their home and what's preventing them really from connecting to the good things in life.
And what brought you to this line of work?
Well, I've always been an organised person. It runs in the family on my dad's side. We're all very tidy. We like to, sort things out. And I knew it was a skill that I had that not many people had, or a skill that could be utilised to help people. And then I realised, or I found out, it was a vocation, it was a job, a professional job, and could not believe it because I thought that is the job for me. And I think 20 years ago, this job didn't exist really. It was in its very early stages, which I found hard to get my head around actually. But there were lots of jobs these days that weren't invented 20 years ago.
Yeah.
So I suppose it came at the right time when my realization of this was a profession. And I did a bit of research. I watched some TV shows like The Home Edit and Sort Your Life Out. And there was a lady on Sort Your Life Out that was a professional organizer. So I started following her on social media and found out she had just started a training course on how to become a professional organizer. So I thought about it for a few days and signed up and didn't tell anybody. It was quite expensive, but I had a little bit of money to do something for myself. And I decided to invest. It was a 12-week course. I was accredited at the end of it. And that has just opened up so many opportunities. And it's just changed my life.
What is it, to think about it, that just gives you that drive to do it, that real
Yeah.
passion? What makes you really passionate
I
about
don't,
it? What is it?
imagine you're 7 years old and it's Christmas morning.
Yeah.
You know that feeling when you walk downstairs or you walk into the living room with the family and that feeling, that's the feeling I get. And I haven't had that probably since I was 7 years old to being almost 50. So to get that elation from this job was quite, I can't think of the word, was quite
Like
overwhelming.
awakening, like awakening,
Awakening,
yeah,
absolutely. It was totally an awakening.
a light bulb moment, something
A
switched
light bulb
on.
moment.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And since then, I've done lots of work on myself. I've looked at my human design chart and all this kind of thing. And it is an innate gift. It's part of my DNA. Organising, being organised, having order, and seeing. I can look in a room and I can visualize what it needs to look like, what systems need to be put in place, how we're going to break it down into small steps. I just have, my brain is just wired that way.
Mm.
When I discovered that, I thought I need to use this to help people. And I want to go home from work feeling elated, and I do.
Oh, that's amazing. That's a fabulous story, and it just shows you how we move away through our adult lives, how we move so far away from ourselves.
Absolutely. I think we do what's expected. When I
Yes.
think back to my early career, going to college, going to university. I mean, I did go to university a little bit later
Mm.
than usual. I was 21. So I really knew I wanted to go to university. I didn't just go because, everybody said, do this, this will do you good. So I really wanted to do it. But I think we get trapped, or there was a culture then. You go to university, you get a very well paid job with a pension and, and I did. I wanted to go into I mean, I did lots of other things before I went into teaching. I worked in industry and management and retail and all that kind of thing. So I've done this kind of thing before, changed my career. But what teaching for me was, I wanted something worthwhile and important and safe and secure because I had a young family as well.
Yeah, yeah,
And you have the pressures of a mortgage and you want to give your family everything you need. But there was a lot of the culture I think I was brought up with was you get a safe job, you do as you're
mm,
told, and you get on with it. And you don't really explore your gifts or your passions. That's extra. That's for your
yeah,
hobby.
ye
Do it in your spare time kind of thing. I didn't have any spare time. So those things were quashed and pressed down and forgotten about, really. Uh,
yeah,
I don't, I think you should follow your dream. That's what I should tell my kids. Do what you're passionate about. Do what you feel is right. Don't do.
yeah,
And to some extent, I've let them, but I know, not all the time. I've kind of have sort of said, you need to do this, and you do, and that's what parents do, I suppose. But now I've come to the realization. I think you know your passions and your gifts are more important than societal expectations.
yeah. I did a podcast with, my yoga teacher, Mick Timpson, really early on, and I think we were talking about this, and he was saying that he used to tell his children, like, "Just always make sure you have a choice, that
Yeah,
that you've got a choice of what you."
yeah, keep your options open.
So when people come to you, what emotions are they experiencing? What kind of things going on for them?
I think every client is completely different,
Mhm.
to be honest, and everybody has a different reason for contacting me, wanting my services. But predominantly, they're completely overwhelmed and they're stuck.
Mm.
They don't know where to start. They're frustrated. it's linked heavily to mental health. There's people that I work with that may have suffered with depression and anxiety, and that is stopping them from moving forward. They may have habits that, spending habits and things like that that need addressing. Obviously, I am not a qualified mental health specialist. However, I have extensive experience of mental health and things like that. But, they feel stressed and just sort of overwhelmed, don't know where to start, and desperate for some help, really, to move forward in their life because it's blocking them from living the life that they want.
You have trained with Dilly Carter, so what was that experience like? So
Yeah,
Dilly is somebody that presents on BBC Sort Your Life Out.
yes. She's the declutter organising expert on BBC Sort Your Life Out, and that's where I first discovered her, if you like. Like I said, I signed up for her training course, but I'm also in her membership. So I'm one of her approved organisers in the UK.
Fabulous.
So we frequently meet and discuss all issues to do with organising and things like that. But it was incredible and it opened up so many doors. It was a 12-week intensive course and she taught us everything that she knew, really. Well, everything that she knows, of course. I got to work with her. As part of the course, you have to do so much work experience to be accredited. So I worked with her down south. That was fantastic. I've also worked behind the scenes on Sort Your Life Out, so she's given us the opportunity to do that. So I've worked in the warehouse, on the warehouse side where you lay everything out and everything's organised. The whole contents of somebody's house is spread across a warehouse floor, which is quite a feat, actually. There's a lot of stuff there. These are people that, have houses that are absolutely full. So it's not your typical home, but that was very interesting to see and hard work. But then I've also worked in the homes of the families that are on the show to put the house back together. So this is once they've gone through all their things in the warehouse, they've decided what's going, what's being donated, what's to sell, and what's going back in the house. And it's usually at 50% or less. So they
Wow.
have to get rid of 50% because it just won't fit. Well, it will, but it won't be comfortable or calm or peaceful or stress free. So I worked in home to put the systems in place and put the house back together, ready
Right.
for the families to come back to. And you don't meet the families, it's all done in 7 days. And then the reveal is when we've all gone and the families are there, the presenters there, Stacey Solomon's there with Dilly, and they reveal the house and the family are just the first time I see the family is when the TV show is aired on
Right,
BBC.
okay. Oh, but
Yes,
that's quite interesting
it
that
is.
because you see yeah, wow, and
I
so
see that's right. I see
you
their stuff, but I don't know who they are. I've never met them.
that's fascinating. So, when you see the stuff, do you get, like, a perception of them, and then is there, like, a
Yeah,
miss or
yeah, you do really.
perception? Yeah, but
A privilege there. It really is a privilege because you're seeing everything about their lives from a materialistic point of view.
mhm,
So there was a family. I knew who the makeup of the family. So I knew there'd be a mum and four sons,
mm,
or I knew there'd be a couple with one daughter, and that's all I know. So it's extremely emotional when you see the family for the first time on TV, and you think, "I've been through your stuff," which is a bit strange. Not many people can say that, I suppose, but at the end of the day, it's the satisfaction of helping them move on with the life.
yeah,
And they've all got different circumstances and different stories, and it's emotional anyway. Every week I get emotional watching it, but particularly with the episodes that I've worked on is very emotional
yeah, I
and
can
good and very
imagine.
satisfying.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
and so what's shifts do you see? So obviously you were saying that they were able to move on, so they're kind of stuck in a place. So
Yes.
what happens in the middle of all that? That kind of moving on, what emotions, what thoughts?
A lot of the time, it's about being able to use their space for
Yeah.
what its purpose is. So, for example, if you have a spare room that's just a junk room that's full of stuff, it's on your mind all the time.
Mm.
It's the mental load that it creates. Because if you see a mess or you see in the kitchen all the pots are out, it automatically tells your brain that there's jobs to do. You can't relax. No, no relaxing here. You've got a washing up to do. So subconsciously, that's what it's telling you. Usually, I mean, that's quite a generalization, but mess triggers part of your brain that says you can't sit down and relax yet. You've got jobs to do. So it
Yeah.
eliminates that and releases and frees up part of your mental load. It also enables people to use the space again for what they want to use it for, like the spare bedroom for guests and things like that. So it's creating more opportunities for people to enjoy the space for what it's meant for.
Yeah.
Uh, you know, so in terms of emotions and things like that, it's like a release. It's like it gives them a sense of calm and relaxation, I think. If you go on holiday and you have a beautiful hotel room, it gives you a sense of calm, doesn't it, straight away?
Yeah,
You're on
it
holiday, you feel calm, you feel at ease, it's peaceful, and that's because there's no mess or stuff.
does.
There's no excess. And that's what you wanna create in your home. It's not
Yeah.
always gonna be like that, of course. Life gets in the way. We've gotta get your stuff out to use it, otherwise, what's the point of having stuff?
Mm.
But keeping on top of it, putting things away, having great systems for finding things quickly, putting things away quickly, can change your life.
Having done some decluttering this morning, I can I can see I can really feel a difference. It was
Yeah,
the smaller bedroom and had stuff on the tops, and I'm gonna clean all down and got rid of the stuff that was on the tops, and I just look at it now and you think, "Oh, yeah,
yeah.
yeah, it
It
looks so
gives
much
you
better."
a sense of
Yeah,
achievement.
yeah.
It ticks that job off, so that's gone out of your head, so you've got more room for growth, I think.
Yeah, for something else, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I like that. You Can you tell me about that experience that you've had around transitioning from education to the professional organizer? I know we've touched on it about it a little bit,
Yes.
but I feel that when we make these transitions, it's not always that simple, that there are complexities within that in terms of identity and routine. And so, could you share a little bit more about that?
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a journey and it's been hard at times. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's I come out overall positive and, "Oh, yeah, I've got this brilliant business that I absolutely love." And it's really hard.
Mhm.
I did 12 months of my business whilst I was teaching.
Okay.
So I kind of built up a confidence or a plan in my head of how, I didn't just stop teaching and then go on to running my own business. I slowly built up, and I know it wasn't a great amount of time, considering, to be fair. I feel like I've only just started and it's been 3 years since
Mm.
I've properly started it, I suppose. It was hard, but I love when I left teaching, the pressure and the sense of I felt trapped, I suppose. The release I felt from having that job and not was unbelievable.
Okay.
I mean, I had some happy times teaching, don't get me wrong, but generally it wasn't good. You're undervalued. You don't have time to concentrate on your own family. I probably looked after the children I taught more than my own kids, and I resented that in a way. So initially that feeling when I left was elation, relief, and it felt really good. And it took me a long time to get all that toxicity out of my body, I think.
Mm.
I have done a lot of self-awareness, absolutely, which I needed to do. Also, my children were leaving school, so there was a big transition for them, and they didn't need me as much in terms of getting them ready for school in the morning, picking them up from school. All that business had changed. So I did a lot of work on myself. I saw life coaches, business coaches. I had previously had psychotherapy. I've had cancer therapy on and off for about 20 years, to be
Yeah.
honest. And I knew the benefits of it, which I continue to do, and I'll always do it. But it's taken me a good 18 months, 2 years to get all that negativity out of my body and my head. You know, my self-esteem was low, my self-belief, my positivity. So I've really worked hard on that over the last couple of years.
Do you think this is just a general question, really? And as I'm hearing you speak and thinking about my own experiences and all the different people that I speak to on the podcast, and they've done similar transitions. So, if teaching could have given you the opportunity to use your skill set that you've got now in that job, do you think you would have stayed?
I
That
know what you
there
mean.
are so many people of us
Mm,
that are leaving our chosen careers to do something else. But if our cultures were different and we were able to take our skill set, the skill set that's untapped, would that then enable us to stay in those careers? And I know there are lots of different elements around it because there are systems
yeah,
and
yeah,
and processes and procedures, but it's a question that I'm asking myself a lot.
yeah. Yeah, I think probably yes would be the answer.
Yeah.
There are lots of things to say with that. No, however, I love being self-employed and being my own boss.
Yes.
That's a big one. So I wouldn't have had that if I'd have stayed in teaching unless I became just a tutor or something like that, maybe. I don't know. I feel like I am a bit of a teacher, still a bit of a teacher anyway. I'll always be a teacher, I suppose.
Yeah, it's
I am
embedded. These
teaching people, but not
yeah.
English and maths.
They're very much part of our identity, which is why that transition
Yeah,
period is quite difficult. It's not a
yeah.
walk in the park at all.
No, no, it's not.
So,
You doubt yourself constantly, and
that
you're alone. It's lonely,
yeah.
and I like to always do something about it. So if I feel a certain way, if I feel low or anxious or worried, there's always, well, I need to do something about this. I need to talk to somebody, or I need to get help. And I've always been like that, I suppose. But I think the whole employment, trying to figure out the right words here. They're not going to come out right, so I'm just going to say it really. But being employed wherever you are, I think we could do better. I think employers can do better.
So, do you think it's about feeling restricted in those that in some
Feeling
way that
restricted,
yeah.
feeling, but also, do you know, people aren't kind,
Mm,
and it's about time people were kind.
yeah.
I think I see so many people where their self-esteem, worthiness, are you worthy? All that's diminished within me, and I'm slowly getting that back, is taken away
Mm,
from how people treat people.
yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I was treated mostly very well, I
Yeah.
know, as an employed person, but sometimes I wasn't. And that chips away at your self-worth and self-being. And I don't think humans are very good at employing people and getting the best out of them, because
Yes.
there's another agenda. Oh, I could go quite deep into this, I think, really.
Because I'm holding an event around building safer spaces where we can thrive. So this is quite an interesting topic, and I know we hadn't quite planned to talk about it, but
No, that's
but
fine.
it is quite interesting. Is have you ever had a one-to-one or an appraisal in your teaching career that has drawn out the skill set that you have now?
No.
No. Yeah. From the business acumen to the organizational,
I think I've used it without realizing. Yeah,
but nobody's ever
not
expanded that.
highlighted. No, I was all I could say. You have to be organised as a teacher to a
Mm,
certain extent in terms you're always planning. You're always planning, teaching, reflecting. There are a lot of unorganised teachers out there, trust me. There are a lot of messy classrooms. I've seen them. But you would think a teacher needed to be organised, wouldn't you? Because they need to know what they're doing. They
yeah,
plan their day. It's not written out for them. You're in charge of what you do every day. So in that respect, I was very good at that. I was very good at planning. I was very good at helping other people to plan. I was English lead, so we wrote the English curriculum, for example. I was very good at putting things into boxes and sorting things out and making sure it made sense. So yeah, my skills were utilised, but not to the extent that they are now. I mean, I've got a business degree, which I graduated 25 years ago in. I mean, things are a bit different now, of course, but I was teaching maths, English, geography, history, RE, never really dipped into what my degree was in.
yeah.
But I don't know.
It's just what
Yeah,
I'm just I suppose it's what if those skills had been drawn out and you'd been given the space to use them, what would teaching have looked like for you then? And
thing
would
is with
you need
teaching that, yeah, there's always obstacles and barriers that you
yeah.
can't that
Mm,
you can't get over. And the biggest one is funding. That's it. Can't do that because we ain't got the funding.
yeah.
Can't do that because we ain't got the people to do it. We can't do that. It's all child-centered, and is it benefiting the children was the number one thing. And for me, that's why I was there for the children, obviously.
Yeah, exactly, and
Um,
obviously it needs to be safe,
yeah, but
but that's where that restriction comes in, isn't it? That's why we get that stuck feeling, that oppressed, because we know that there's more that we've got and that we need to give, I think.
yeah, I was frustrated a lot of the time. And I thought, I'm not as good at this as I want to be. So this maybe isn't the right. I don't
Mm,
know. You are criticised so much as a teacher. That's
yeah,
the honest truth. I think every day you're looking over your shoulder thinking, someone's
mm,
checking up on me. Well, fair enough. Yeah, you need people that are good. You need people to be doing their job. Absolutely. I get that. But when you're constantly thinking of that and you're just not left to be creative in your teaching style, in your passion for it, you lose it. You've
yeah.
lost that.
This is like a whole new conversation.
It
At
is.
some point, I'd really love to do a whole podcast series around this,
Yeah,
because I think it'd be really interesting. I think how many podcasts have I done now? Maybe getting on for 35, maybe 40, and there are so many stories like this
absolutely. Yes. Yeah,
where
I could talk about
people have
that
struggled.
forever and I could talk about organising forever. So I don't mind what I talk about.
So, in your experience, so you talked about your training and how you saw it help people. Could
Yeah.
you perhaps share an experience, a case study, perhaps of someone that you've helped over the past couple
Yeah.
of years, and just talked about their transition and what's happened for them?
Yeah, absolutely. I've worked for a lot of people now, all very different. Some people may have been just a one-off session, and that's all they did, like the garage. But some people I've worked for quite a long time repeatedly. And I have a client that I've worked for. She was one of my very first clients, so it's a good 2 years ago, probably 2.5 years ago. And I've worked with her a lot of the last 2 years on the whole house, and she's at a point in her life, she's a divorcee, she's got grown-up children, a beautiful home that's big and had a lot of stuff, and it was in a bit of a mess, obviously, And we've just chipped away doing room by room or area by area. And she's come back to me this year. I'm still working for her now, doing different things because now it's been a big transition for her. Children are leaving home. So she's got more time to think about herself and what she wants out of the house for her, not just for other people that live there. So things have changed over those 2 years and her circumstances have changed as well. But she's gone from every room being absolute nightmare to having lots of areas of her room that bring her peace and confidence. And she says I'm her self-care.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can invest in yourself in lots of different ways. You can go to
Yeah.
a spa, you can have a psychotherapist, you can have all different types of coaches and different types of therapy. And I'm her coach, if you like.
Wow.
Of,
Yeah.
and
Mm.
we've got similar backgrounds. We talk all the way through the decluttering processes, and I know a lot about her, and she knows a lot about me, and we've built up it's about building up those relationships, isn't it?
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
always had that throughout whatever job I've done. Teaching is all about relationships too, because you're trusting somebody to go through your stuff and be in your home.
Yeah, it's a
Uh,
personal thing, very personal thing, quite an
it,
intimate thing really, isn't it?
it is, and I find the better that the more time we spend together and the more relationship develops, the more I can help people get to the nitty
Yeah.
gritty and
And
the
we
reasons why their home is the way it is.
and our belongings have so much emotion. We have attachments to them, haven't we? And I
Absolutely.
had a long time. My first house was a terraced house, and I sold it, and I went traveling. And
Right.
I came back and all my stuff came out of storage. Well, I was at my mum and dad's for about 18 months, like from coming back to like buying the house I'm in now. And I remember, I remember like bringing all the furniture in and the mirror and the pictures went up there, and there were things that were in my other house. And I was like saying to my mum, "Oh, I feel quite a little bit unsettled." And she's like, "Do you know where it is, Andrea?" She said, "You've got too much of your old house in here." She went,
Yeah.
"For starters, you want to get rid of that mirror?" Well, I was like I was like, it's got like, it's quite unusual really. I only got it from Next, but the frame of it is quite unusual, and I was like, "No."
Well, how long has you been away for? How long were you
Uh,
traveling?
10 months in
So
total.
you've been fine without it?
I was fine without it, yeah, but
I
it's just
know. We do hold on to
I
things
always see
for
what you meant. I see
safety.
yeah, I see how you like, you're thinking, yeah.
Yeah, because just if you really consider,
Mm,
if you have an object and you think, do I really love? I loved my books.
yeah.
I collected books all throughout my teaching career. Children's books were my favourite, and I had hundreds. Resource books, teaching books on
Mm,
learning how to teach things better. I've really thought about: are these changing your life?
mm,
Are keeping all these books having a positive impact to your life? They're in boxes in the loft. You're not looking at them.
mm,
You have a lot of memories from them, and they're good quality. It shows your vast career in whatever teaching, but are you ever going to use them again? Are they practical?
yeah.
Are they, like I say, going to make a positive impact to your life? And the answer was very clearly no.
Mm,
So after about 12 months of really considering how they're going to change my life, if they are, coming to the conclusion of no, I just got rid of them all. I gave up my old school, most of them, but I did keep a selection of classic children's books
mm.
for grandchildren. And if that doesn't happen, then they will go to somebody else's grandchildren. But if you really think about the benefits of keeping stuff, that helps. That helps.
Yeah, because in my decluttering this morning, it was around my bookcase actually. Well, one of my bookcases. I've got quite a few like stacked with books and things. So And I was just thinking, I really need to go through these and have a look because I'm not looking at them. And there's one shelf and it's full of traveling books and they're probably out of date.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, why am I keeping hold of them?
Yeah, I had teaching books from old curriculums. Over my teaching career, I think I taught 3 different curriculums.
Yeah.
That's when, that period of time is when they all changed, so they were out of date anyway, and if I need anything in the future, I can just go online.
Yeah. Yeah, that's very true. So, Amy, I just want to ask you, what is next for you? What's the plans for the future, and where can people find your work?
Okay, so I'm on social media, Instagram and Facebook, mostly like Instagram pretty much daily, every other day. That's at Sort with Snape UK. I also have my website, www.sortwsnape.com. There's loads of information on that. I've just written a new blog on there and I've planned out some more blogs for the rest of the year. So, blog writing is something that is going to happen or already happened. More podcasts would be great. And I've been thinking about workshops and things like that as well. So, people that don't necessarily want to invite me into their home or don't feel that they have you know, necessarily need me to help them declutter in person. There are going to be some more online opportunities for helping people too. So, very excited.
That's amazing, Amy. And thank you so much for joining me today. I've really enjoyed our chat.
Thank you for having me. It's been great.
It was great to talk to Amy about the emotional side of decluttering, the stories our possessions hold, and how stuff can block the life we truly want, and the remarkable shifts that Amy has witnessed when she's been working with her clients and supporting them and enabling them to finally let go. I felt this conversation was filled with care, reflection, and the reminder that sometimes creating space on the outside is the first step to finding peace on the inside. Thank you for listening to this week's episode of The Connection Compass. If you think it will help someone else, please leave a review. And if you have any questions, please visit Andrea L. Evans' Facebook page. And remember to keep talking, keep connecting for a more interconnected world.